Evening. Welcome everybody to Shelf Discovery. You are in the right place. I am taking the place of Reverend Chris Jackson, who is on vacation today, enjoying Kansas City with his family. Some of you already know that. Some of you may be just figuring out now. So I am gonna check in into Facebook to see if it's showing up over here so I can share it. And so you can share it. I am taking the place of Reverend Chris Jackson. And there it is. Chris Jackson, who is on vacation today, enjoying Kansas City with his family. Some of you already know that. Some of you may be just figuring out now. So I am going to check it into Facebook to see if this. All right. So we are posted. We are good to go. We are starting. Welcome to Shelf Discovery. My name is Carmen Navedo, and I am the Prayer Chaplain Council chairperson, and it is my pleasure to be sharing this evening with you. I'd figured today we will pull from my shelf, from our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore. Healing Letters is the name of her book. And so Myrtle and Charles Fillmore are the co-founders of Unity. Myrtle was sick. She had tuberculosis, among other things, and other ailings that had been hereditary since she was very young. And she had a few months to live until she went to listen to a talk by E.B. Weeks, and that changed her life. And so she started talking to the cells in her body. She started asking them for forgiveness. She she acknowledged the intelligence of her body, and she healed. She healed in about 2 to 3 years, and the neighbors started noticing changes in her and will come to her. So she will pray for them and help them heal. And eventually, her husband, Charles, said, wait a minute, there's something going on here. And so he applied it to himself and he healed himself as well. And so this book, Healing Letters, is it's not all of her letters. It's just some of the letters that she will write to people, sort of like prayer letters to help them heal. And so I will start by sharing this quote. I have it physical and electronically, and I'm using my electronic copy today. So don't mind me reading from it. I will start with this quote from her. It is my great joy to perceive some of, let me put my glasses on, sorry. It is my great joy to perceive somewhat of the mother side of God, the divine love that never fails and that is equal to the drawing of souls to itself. It is my prayer to be able to radiate the qualities of this divine love to all. The Mother of Unity is the universal mother. How happy we are to represent this mother. And so I'm going to ask you as we come together tonight to just breathe out. And as we come together, just putting time aside, just it doesn't matter if we're all together at the same time or you're watching this on your own time at a different time. We put time aside and we acknowledge the space that we're in, this sacred space. The space is here, the space is now. We're co creating sacred space. And we acknowledge this unconditional love of the mother, this unconditional love of God manifesting as the mother, enveloping us, helping to heal our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our emotions. Just allowing ourselves to be. Okay, thank you. And the next quote I want to share with you. It's a longer quote. Don't mind me. It's from the section called Threefold Healing. And it says, oh, this is interactive, by the way, so feel free to post your comments, to say hello, post any questions. You don't have to agree with me. You can disagree. It's all good. We are not sure that you understand that you are to cooperate with us by studying. She's talking to people that are asking for prayer. We are not sure that you understand that you are to cooperate with us by studying the truth so that you may come into the understanding of the divine laws of health and life and prosperity, and by joining us daily in prayers. Thank you, Marlena. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Miss Christine. We will not say that the work we do here has nothing to do with the healing, but we do not promise results unless we have the faith and the cooperation of those for whom we pray and to whom we give instruction. After all, it is not the physical and mental relief that means most to the persons receiving treatment. And we're not so much concerned with the results as we are with the growth in consciousness that will make the results abiding. This health law is threefold: spiritual, keeping a person assured of his or her God given freedom from all anxiety, worry, fear, and lack; mental, giving him or her the intelligence that enables her to do that which promotes health and success; physical, forming those habits which keep him or her making the right use of her faculties and powers and the life energy and substance. There is a tendency to disregard the harmonious combination of these three elements, one person being very careful to observe the spiritual, another to accomplish results through the physical. Our work is to unify these three and to bring our students into the understanding application of the truth of being. One who remembers and lives by the spiritual promises of the law of health will not worry or seek to manage other people's affairs or neglect to feed his or her soul with that which is necessary to keep it unfolding Christ's word. I love that. Keep it unfolding Christ's word. One who is like unfolding our own Christ nature, right? One who is aware of the mental side of his health seeks to keep himself free from the limitations of the race mind, the opinions and demands of others, the depressions and harried attitudes that keep the Christ ideas from finding perfect expression through his thoughts and acts. One who is determined that her physical life will show forth the peace and order of spiritual reality and divine intelligence is considerate of her body and careful in her demands upon it. She sees to it that she understands the physical requirements and that she meets these every day. So you see, there is more to our silent unity ministry than a formula of words to be said at intervals. We want to help you to live the Christ life here and now, which means to live a life of understanding, trust in the good, of joyous activity, mental and physical, of freedom from fear and worry, of loving contact with your fellows without anxiety as to their apparent shortcomings or selfishness. So we ask you to consider prayerfully the following explanation of your being. and to seek to incorporate an understanding of it in your consciousness, using it in your daily living. And so, Christ's word, like towards Christ. Yeah, the unfolding Christ word is kind of like not Christ's word outside of us, but Christ's word within us, kind of like developing our own Christ nature. Hi Dale, hola. So yeah, so developing our own Christ nature. And so I love the fact that this is like end of the 19th century, right? Late 1800s, and they are combining body, they're not separating. You're welcome. And they're not um separating the body, the mind, like they are recognizing the sacredness of it all, and they're seeing it all as a unit, and how we have to balance how us, when we pray for one another, we're not like we're not the saviors. They didn't see themselves as the saviors. They saw, like Jesus said, like this and greater things you will be able to do. They believed in that, and so they didn't feel or think themselves better than anybody else. And what they had developed, everybody else could develop with the same practice. And so, to me, that's inspiring to us as we go in our day-to-day lives, and as we are getting ready. Like for me, it's very easy to sit and read spiritual books, and for me it's really easy to do a meditation, and so that's my my strength. And so my current workout is actually a physical workout. It's adding that portion into my life and make it something that is constant, not something that's on and off. She talks about taking care of the body on a daily basis in several parts throughout the book. She mentions that it's like a daily care, just like the mind. I recently acquired glasses. I've had these ones a little bit over a year, and I one of the things that annoys me is that throughout the day they get dirty, and it's seemingly to me, it's surprising to me that they get dirty throughout the day, even if I've just had them on my face. Like, how did they get dirty? But sometimes it's just because I touch them. Sometimes I'll put them on my shirt, and then I'll bend down, and then my chin touches them, so then there is grease from my chin on the glasses. I mean, so it I have to. So my strategy has been to have like little wipes all over the place. So I have them on my desk at work, I have them in my purse, I have them in my car, just to keep on cleaning it. And so in the same way, and so if I don't clean them, I don't see as clearly. And so to me, this has been like a great example in our life of how we have to fine tune our spiritual, mental, and physical perspective and attitude and way of being and practice. Is something, there is wisdom in A Course in Miracles asking us, and the Way of Mastery does the same thing, ask us to give it 5 minutes every hour to work on whatever thought we're working on that day. And it's just that idea of having to recalibrate, right? Like I work at TSA, every 8 hours or so, we have to recalibrate the machines just to make sure that they're working properly. And it's kind of like life will happen. It doesn't matter what we're focusing our attention on, right? Or it does matter what we're focusing our attention on. But regardless of what is going on around us, we can recalibrate ourselves and come to center and seek for the truth and look for an answer and do what is in the highest and best interest of everybody involved for us to do. What is mine to do now? What is mine to do now? What can I do to change this that is going to be for the highest good for myself and for everybody else? And so it's just this whole idea of recalibrating ourselves. And so I was thinking, I read a book about Stephen Covey, I believe is his name, about doing miniature habits and doing many things to bring change about. And so thinking I can sit and read spiritual literature for hours, but then I'm going to have to move around. I'm going to have to do things. There are things I have to do. There's work I have to perform. I have to take care of the house. I have to take care of myself. And so it's just like finding that balance, but like introducing exercise into my life regularly is something that I find challenging. So in as we're getting ready to go into this new year, I'm working towards, okay, what's going to be my strategy? What strategy am I going to apply to increase this balance? So it's like, okay, I'm not going to drop my strength, which is the spirituality and mental, right? Like the spirituality along with the mental, because I'm reading, so that's helping me to keep my mind where it needs to go. And what is it? The third unity principle says thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So what we think about, what we focus on, that's what we create more of, right? And that's sometimes why we have to distract ourselves, because if we're sick, then they say you need to watch funny movies, and that's healing. It's just this idea of shifting our perspective to something that's positive, that's something that's productive, still doing what we need to do, still taking care of doing the medicines. And you see in like further along in the book, she says it's a mixture of science. So they include the science in there. They're not, science is part of this higher thinking, of this higher spiritual living, of this taking care of the body. And so it's just striking that balance. So I want to ask you, what do you think about this? What is your perspective about this when it comes to bringing the body, the mind, and the spirit together, working as one? Which one do you prioritize? With which one is your strength? What is your strategy? What do you do? Let's help each other out. Feel free to write in the comments and share with me while I look for our next quote. I forget to put my glasses on. Nancy says she started watching the sunrise with a prayer from the Way of Mastery and then taking a walk right after. That's beautiful. I love the Way of Mastery. So powerful. Um, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful day to set the energy. Oh, Abraham Hicks calls it. What do they call it? I can't think about it. They is setting segment intending. They call it segment intending. So they talk about doing that throughout the day. Segment intending, like setting up the energy as we're getting ready to start the next segment in our day. Where are we going to go next? Is a segment intending. So that's like your segment intending the day by starting the day with the sunrise, with a prayer, with an inspirational reading. Thank you. It makes it doable. Yeah. It makes it part of, and it makes the day, whenever I do that, it makes my day run smoother. So I'm sure it does for you too. Hi, Pam. Welcome. It happens to all of us. The holidays, it makes us lose. She says she forgot it was Monday. It's like it makes us lose what day is what. That's how I felt last week when I was working last week. All right, so this next quote from Myrtle Fillmore from Healing Letters. Study and training are required for righteous expression of our threefold nature. The study and training should be more thorough than our first lessons in life because we're dealing with advanced stages of the same thing. Because of lack of understanding, much must be done over and changed. Because of lack of understanding, much must be done over and changed. So if we would have the full free use of our senses and our organs, we must get at the causes of inharmonies, remove them, and establish a new and perfect pattern and plan of action. We do this by remembering that we are God's children, that God has created us perfect, and that there is a law established within us that will keep us unfolding harmoniously if we will but recognize it. To know how to hear with the mind and to discern and discriminate between the true and real and worthwhile and that which is mere foolishness and the clatter of elements not yet recognized under law, and to realize that one may be obedient and receptive without giving up one's right to freedom of choice and action is a real accomplishment. I love that. Like taking care of ourselves, growing up. Hi, Ina. Taking care of ourselves, growing up spiritually, mentally, physically, does not mean that we give up our freedom of choice and action. To me, that's so powerful coming um, from a like a previous religion where there were things to do that you must do sometimes without an explanation. It was just what you had to do. And so this freedom of like I am using my own discernment, I am activating my discriminate mind, so I'm using my mental faculties, I'm aligning me with my spirit, with my higher self, with the Holy Spirit, with inspiration, with the mother, with the divine, and I am applying science, and I am choosing. I have the freedom of choice, and I have the freedom of action. And so it's when she talks about um, we're dealing with advanced stages of the same thing because of lack of understanding, much must be done over and change. One of the things that she did, she had, it was, I guess, her family culture, this whole idea that they were sick with all these things and they just inherited it. And just because you were part of the family, you had it. So this is, you're stuck with it. You're part of the family. You inherit it. There's nothing you could do. And one of the things she did was apologize to her cells, to every single one of her cells, for sort of assuming that, and her organs, just for assuming that they could not be fully healthy, that they could not heal themselves, that they would inherit all these maladies that her family line had. And this process took her about 2 to 3 years. So I think for me, one of the things I have grown in, and I still have to practice, is being patient, because sometimes we see changes, things that happen overnight, seemingly overnight, but in truth, it's stuff that we may have been working on for decades, that we may have been working on for years. And then something switches and somebody tells us, "Oh my God, you did this and that was so great." It's like, yeah, I've been working on it for a long time. And we're still challenged. Yes, it can be so freeing, Pam. It can be so freeing, so powerful. This whole idea, to me, it's empowering. This whole idea, um yes, this whole idea that we can focus our mind, take care of our bodies, listen to our bodies, to what is best for our bodies, educate ourselves as to what is best to our bodies, and go forth from there, listening to what makes sense, to what feels right, and still choosing. And it may still be trial and error, right? It still be, but it makes me happy that it's okay that I can choose to not give up chocolate. That's one of my things. And at the same time, just because it's balanced, right? So then, like, the other 90% of my diet during the day, during the week, has to reflect vegetables and fruits and other. Hi, Millie, welcome. has to has to bring in other elements that are sustaining my body, not just sustaining my inner child. We will say who she's sustained by the chocolate. So just being able to take care of ourselves and um, take care of each other, take care of supporting each other. Let me see. Hmm. You're welcome, Ina. Chocolate nor bread. I think it's easier for me to give up the bread than to give up the chocolate. The rice is something else I like a lot. But so the other thing now that I just that just flowed out of my lips, just taking care of each other, it's just this whole idea that as we start seeing the divinity in ourselves, it becomes easier for us to see the divinity in each other. And we have to also give ourselves permission to fail, right? Like failure is part of the process. And you're welcome, Pam. And so I wanted to check on the time. We just have a few more minutes left. And so this whole idea that we can be here with each other, and this is the whole idea of the prayer chaplains, is to have this community. Part of our mission statement as prayer chaplains is not just support unity on the we have a big mission, right? So our big mission, we start by supporting each other. That's the first step: support each other, then support our community, and then support the world, because everything we do is like the flight of the butterfly, right? It affects a hurricane in the other side of the world. And so with our thoughts, when we align ourselves, our hearts, our minds, our spirit, our bodies, when we take care of ourselves, that resonates, that vibrates throughout the earth. And then that makes it easier for other people that are on the path, that are searching, to find those answers, because there is more of us doing it. There is more of us taking care of ourselves. There is more of us taking care of each other. And for those times when we forget our truth, when we forget our strength, our power, our ability to growth and change, that failure is just part of the process. Failure is part of success. It's not either success or failure. It's just on the way to success, there has to be failure. So it's just part that is normal in this world, in this dimension that we're living in currently. So just being okay with that, and just being able to support each other, to remember each other's truth, to be able to see the divine in each other, and to be there for each other when we need to be there for each other, in good times and in bad times, right? Not just in bad times, in good times, to laugh together, to enjoy together, even to laugh together at the bad times. And so I can't believe we ran out of time. And it has been a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you for sharing with me. Thank you for sharing Myrtle Fillmore and her healing letters. And may this help us all as we start this new year, taking better care of ourselves, paying attention to the understanding of the truth of our nature, of the power that we are, to be able to see it in ourselves, to be able to remember it in others, even if it's somebody that is challenging us, or especially somebody who's challenging us. We can see that as the root cause, that they don't remember their true power. They don't remember their true nature. And so they might not be receptive for us to tell them. But we can hold that truth in our prayer, in our silence. We can say, I see you as you are. I see the truth of your being. I see the perfection, and I will hold it in the light until you can see it for yourself. And as we do that more and more, we can see how our relationship with that person changes. We can see how our relationship with the world changes. And so thank you for being here tonight. You're welcome, Nancy. You're welcome, Madeline. Thank you, Dale. Yes, it's important to be here, like with all of you. All of you. Fantastic. So, thank you very much for sharing your truth, your light, your power here with us this evening, and for helping to make this world a better place. Have a good night. Bye. Love you all. Glad you enjoyed it, Miss Christine. Bye. Thank you, Millie.